So I just thought I'd have a little chat with you about the focus for this block. So the focus for this first block, which will be a month, is going to be 3 usual suspects of mobility. So when I talk about that, I'm talking about specific areas in the body that certainly as a therapist, but also as a coach, we tend to see the most dysfunction in movement and injury and pain from certain areas of the body. And there are various reasons for that. Generally speaking, those areas are the foot and ankle, the thoracic spine and shoulders, so that's sort of like your mid to upper back, everything kind of rib cage-ish, and before your neck starts is your thoracic spine, and then hip as well. So you can imagine that a lot of what I do all day is seeing knee problems. 9 out of 10 times they will come from an issue that's happening either at the foot and ankle or the hip, sometimes both, just for great fun, and sometimes from elsewhere in the body. But 9 times out of 10, I look above, I look below, I'm going to find the problem. And the reason I think that they are so prone to dysfunction is that as areas, they are some of the areas of our body that should move the most. So when we think about those areas, we think about the foot and ankle, think about how many bones are there. The thoracic spine has more joints in it than any other bit of your spine, including your neck, which you might think was a bit more mobile than your mid-back, but it's supposed to be move more. So it's got more joints. So every joint is an opportunity for movement. So those are areas that should be moving an incredible amount. Certainly like the foot should be collapsing and reforming almost every step. All of those bones should be moving around each other comfortably. When we think about the shoulder and the hip, they're joints that we know have loads of motion. Ooh, okay, bit too much motion there, Ren. But basically we can kind of like swing shoulders around, swing legs around, all being well with our hips and our shoulders. We can make a variety of movements with them. Some of our joints have quite limited movements. They can only go one direction back, but these are joints where we've got loads and loads of options. We've got loads of muscles connecting onto them, and we've got loads of options. Our bodies respond well when we use all the movement options available to us. It's use it or lose it. It's classic. We all kind of know it intuitively. So, even if we don't know the academic behind it, we know that if you generally use your movement patterns, you'll tend to keep them into old age and beyond, I assume, I guess, because I'm planning on haunting people like a real athletic weapon. But anyway, back to the point. Basically, when you have these areas that are supposed to move a lot, and then we have our lives, which, we're at work for 8 hours. My hip is in this position. My feet are in my shoes. They ain't moving much. I'm not doing many steps. And my thoracic spine's here. And I just don't get a lot of movement. That's 8 hours of my day. So I sleep for 8 hours. Because I definitely sleep for 8 hours, just like you do, just like we all do. So that's another 8 hours of immobility, or maybe 6 hours, or whatever, between 6 and 10 hours of complete immobility at those areas. So that's actually like a significant proportion of our day. If we add that up, then we add in the time maybe we're traveling between places, a really short amount of time when we might go to the gym or train or do something a little bit more active potentially. And sorry, I have assumed that everyone's a desk worker just for the purposes of this. Well, I'll move on to other people shortly. But yeah, you can kind of see that these areas that are supposed to move a lot don't move very much at all. And then we start to see certain types of dysfunction pop up, basically. We then add repetitive movement. So this is something, if you've got a very active job, but it's in a trade or in a factory or on a construction site, the chances are that even though your job is active and it does take you about a bit, there are vast amounts of time where you're having to do the same repetitive task. And again, that can cause issues and dysfunction in these areas. Basically, we're built to move and explore and play in a really varied amount of ways. And our lifestyles, like how we have set up our society, doesn't lend itself well to that. So then we get dysfunction in these areas. I remember when I first heard the tripod foot cue, which is something that we tell people in squatting. We say that your big toe, your little toe, and your heel must be down at all times. But when I heard that, I thought that's not possible, because when I put my big toe and my heel down, my little toe was up. When I put my little toe and my heel down, my big toe was doing something funky. And I just didn't realise that wasn't supposed to be. I just lived my whole childhood in Doc Martens and military boots and shoes that just didn't move. At some point there was probably like a platform heels era as well, which was not good for my feet. And they were just like absolute blocks. And as a result, my ankles were really weird and unstable. I tended to go over onto them quite a lot and get a lot of ankle sprains. I had a lot of knee problems. I just generally didn't move well. And now my feet are fully mobile. Honestly, like it's like night and day, the difference in what they do. And it's so funny because often when I'm doing this stuff and I can feel my feet behaving in strange ways, I wonder what would have happened if I'd have tried that movement like 5 years ago or 7 years ago or 10 years ago, when my feet were just like concrete blocks that didn't move. And I know that the answer would be, it would probably have not gone very well. And in fact, it didn't when I tried to start putting heavy squats onto feet that didn't move, and hips that weren't happy. So yeah, basically we're supposed to move a ton in those areas, but we don't. This is hopefully going to give you just a little bit of an antidote, because as you collect these drills, you're going to be like, fucking hell, that's good to move in that direction. And you won't have necessarily realised that you missed it so much. So when you find one like that, hold on to it, take it into your daily practice, work out a way to do it at work, at your desk, wherever you are. We're going to give you like little ones that you can do when you are in certain places as well. So hopefully that will help. But yeah, that's basically why we have chosen the targets that we have for the first bit of this mobility program. And I think understanding where you've potentially got dysfunction in those areas is really valuable. If you want any more information, of course, you can contact either me or Chloe, just to explain a little bit more about any movement issues that you're having, and then we can set you up with a little bit more in-depth help. But for now, hopefully enjoy the drills in this block, and it will teach you quite a lot about what's going on in your body, but also hopefully fix some of the problems too.